Welcome back to the Zen Social Worker. I'm here with Steve.
Hi.
I'm Jess.
I'm Steve.
Yeah. We had a great video last week. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, we talked about values in action.
Even in hard times.
And this is my insecurity coming out, but you probably noticed the audio wasn't very good. And it's very good this time.
Yeah. Here's what I like about that from a flexibility perspective is you didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right?
Yes.
You adapted and you salvaged and you moved forward.
Right. It was better to have a post than no post.
Yeah.
Better done than perfect. So that brings us to our topic for today. Today we're discussing psychological flexibility versus rigidity. And we're doing sort of like a comparison. We're probably going to bring in some case examples from our own work and also just like random stuff. So you won't know what's actually our client or what's, so if you think this is about you, it's probably not.
Some of it might even be about me, right? Like there's moments in my life when I've been completely rigid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too. We
absolutely.
kind of talked about that like last week.
Yeah, with the exercise stuff, with the movement stuff, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We all have stuff, right? And we all have absolute truths like in our head, things that feel like absolute truths. And something that I was thinking about as I was like preparing for, doing this video is a lot of our clients probably find comfort in that certainty.
Absolutely, they do.
Right? That like knowing that that's a truth.
Or at least convincing ourselves that that's the truth.
Yes.
Right, from that perspective. Absolutely. I think there's like a lot of comfort to be found in that.
It keeps us safe.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
For sure.
Right? Like, for example, to think like everyone's going to leave me. If you already like believe that and expect that, right? Then you're going to be doing things to kind of ensure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's a reinforcement, right? You're consistently, well, and that's the interesting thing about capital T truths, right? Is that you're going to consistently look for reinforcers that that's the truth. And then you might have your own bias as to if anybody gives you a different perspective on that, you won't buy into it because it doesn't reinforce your capital T truth.
Exactly. And even like that different way of thinking, like being psychologically flexible, a lot of times people will interpret or believe that that means that they're being vulnerable, right? That it leaves them vulnerable, that it is weakness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's something that, I wanted to let everyone know and tell everyone is that it's not a weakness. In fact, being psychologically flexible is almost like a superpower.
And if not a superpower, right? Like, mild comparison. My favorite superhero is Batman. Why do I like Batman? Because he doesn't actually have superpowers. He had to work really hard to get where he was. He had to train like tirelessly to get where he is.
I also love Batman.
Who doesn't love Batman? But that's my reason for really, really loving Batman is like my favorite superhero is he wasn't born with powers. He didn't acquire them somehow. He's just a regular dude who had a bunch of trauma.
And a lot of money. He's really rich.
He is really rich. And so maybe like he's privileged in that, I guess, right? Like he had the monetary means to just like isolate and train and have teachers to teach him kung fu and stuff like that, I guess.
So it's like a superpower. When we give into the rigidity, like, because it's tempting, it feels familiar, it's
easy,
it's safe.
Yeah.
Right? When we give into that rigidity, it impacts our emotional well-being, over time.
Should we define what psychological flexibility is so people know?
Absolutely.
I feel like there's a video on the YouTube channel where Tim has like talked about psychological flexibility. I like psychological flexibility being our capacity to be present as we can be with accurate information that's coming in, which means not always believing every thought that we have, that we can use our senses to be more present, to accept, not resign or condone, to accept what's happening in the moment, to be able to hold it, even if for a brief amount of time, so that we can be able to feel pain, discomfort, whether it's physical or mental and emotional pain, and
Right.
still choose to move in the directions that we want to be able to move in, even in the face of that pain and that fear, right? Or that pain and that discomfort.
So that's the definition, like from an ACT perspective. And that's really, it's really cool because simply put, like when I've thought about like psychological flexibility, I've thought about it being like, yeah, like the ability to relate differently to your pain.
Absolutely.
Right.
If I think about, because keeping in mind that part of my background is like anatomy, right? Kinematics, as a bodybuilder. And then I got really, really interested just in like human movement and dynamics and biomechanics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If we think about what the term flexibility actually means, like tissue flexibility, it means that that tissue has a lot of range to move through.
Right.
It has a lot of different options, or like a protractor, right? I have this over here, and I have all of the in between, and I have this opposite end of the spectrum over here.
Yes.
Right. So that flexibility, if I think about flexibility, it allows me to think about things in a different way. But it also allows me to like have a broader range of what I can feel, what I'm allowed to feel, what I allow myself to feel, and then also be very flexible with what my options for behavior are.
Yes.
Right. As opposed to rigidity.
And it's so funny that you mentioned anatomy, because something just came to my mind, like from like I've also studied anatomy, like my first degree is in science. I have a Bachelor of Science. So I've taken, 2 anatomy courses like within that degree. And something that we learned in there was the difference between like in terms of bone, right? Like rigidity versus like flexibility, because even our bones have some level of flexibility.
Absolutely, they do.
Is like when pressure is applied, right? That there's a less chance of it breaking, right? So I think that that's really cool, like to apply in this context, is like when times are hard and the pressure is, high, right, on our mental capacity, right, to be able to bend and not break.
Yeah, to bend and not break. Beautiful.
Yeah, I guess like in really unmasking psychological flexibility, or really defining like what it is, I love like your definition that you came up with, but involving like ACT, because what I think really is it's at the core of ACT, right? Psychological flexibility is all 6 of the processes.
Absolutely.
Right? It's obviously like you're not applying all 6 at any given time, but depending on the situation, like being able to like take something like acceptance, where you're allowing uncomfortable like emotions and sensations and memories, right?
Yeah.
Without like the need to push it away, right?
Yeah.
Like that's one component, right, of psychological flexibility. But like that alone isn't going to be enough.
Well, yeah, no, because or one of them will like, that's what I like about the idea of the hexaflex, is one of them feeds into the other. Like they all kind of feed into each other, right?
Yes.
Which is the flexibility aspect too, right? Like even in the work that we do, having to be very flexible in our approach, because we never know where our clients are going to go, what they're going to think, what they're going to feel, what they're going to do. And rather than just like, okay, no matter what shows up, this is how I'm going to handle it, right? This is the exercise that we're going to do. No matter how this client is feeling or thinking, this is what we're going to do today because this is on my agenda.
When we start to get rigid, like that's when like, buying into those self-critical stories, right? Like, I'm not a good enough like ACT therapist if I'm not doing this this way, or, so even things like that, being psychologically flexible can even apply to like our work in session.
Absolutely,
like it's
it can, right?
Constantly adapting.
And then I think that when we get rigid, like then our clients don't really get maybe what they need, right, in that moment, because I'm just giving them what I think is what they need. You're going to do therapy the way that I want you to do therapy because I think this is the issue and this is how you're going to fix the issue.
Yes.
Right?
So I think that's also important because I know that there's a lot of clinicians as well that watch these videos and engage like with the channel. I think that talking both about as like a client, someone to like better themselves in general, but also people who are looking to like deep dive more like into like doing this work.
Using ACT. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good for people to recognize sometimes too, and I don't know that everybody does, is that when we talk about being present, the most of the marketing around being present is this is a really nice place to be. And for some people it is not.
It's not.
It is painful and it is sad and it's icky and it's sticky. And when somebody doesn't know that they have the option or the capacity to be with that icky stuff.
Right.
I can't be here. There is we were talking about like comfort before in rigidity. There is a comfort in staying stuck in the past because it's familiar and we know it and we can strategize in our minds about how we would have done it differently. And that feels good. Oh, if I had said that. And then almost instantly because that's where I go. Right? Like when I get hooked by that stuff, I'm a ruminator, not a catastrophizer. Like I go back.
Yeah.
Like I go back and I'm like, oh, when they did that, oh, I should have said that. And when I do that, when my mind goes back and imagines me saying that to them, that feels good.
It feels good.
There's a relief there. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you're in your head. You're not present.
Yeah.
And what comes in there, like if we're still on the topic of like the hexaflex and using like how psychological flexibility is all 6 of these processes interacting, right? Like in that case, that's sort of where self as context would come in, right? If somebody's finding it hard to be in the present moment and just being in the present moment doesn't feel good, right? Teaching them, right? You can observe it, right? Like that's not you. There's a separate part of you that notices.
The observer. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not my thoughts. I am the thinker of my thoughts. I'm not my feelings. I'm the feeler of my feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think in preparing for this video, the thing that really clicked for me is it is all 6. It's just this. It's just everything. Just like at different times, it's different things.
Yeah.
And that's just what I really wanted to run home when we're defining and talking about.
Yeah, that it is all
psychological flexibility.
Yeah. And like and I think that that's really cool. Let's say from a counseling or a therapy perspective, is if we can't see that the psychological flexibility is all 6, we might even find ourselves getting stuck in 1, 2, or the 3 of the processes. Right. The ones that we relate to the easiest. Like for me, in the beginning, present moment, because I come from a background of yoga, meditation, and mindfulness, like which is that's what it's all about, right? And so like I could very easily get stuck in that process. Oh, just be present, just be present. Oh, always present, right? If you're just present, then everything's gonna work out, right? Because that's also how mindfulness is also marketed to us. Is like if you're just present and you're breathing and you feel your breath, things are going to go great.
Right.
It's like, no, it's really not. That's not how it works.
It's not.
Yeah.
And we see it over
and over again.
In ourselves and like in clients.
Even getting rigid, like in what we value, I think, right? Like we get stuck in values sometimes, right? Like I had...
watch last week's video. We talked about that.
Yeah. Like a client who could very easily, let's say like their value is to be a good dad. And they get stuck in trying to be the best dad that they possibly can be while sacrificing a lot of other things, even sacrificing themselves. Like good dads sacrifice.
Yeah.
Good dads always put their kids in front of them, or good partners always put their partner in front of them.
Yeah.
And then the difficulty then is like if you're constantly sacrificing yourself to be the good dad, then there's so many things that can go wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you could start to build resentment for your kids, but then you're like, oh, I feel really, really bad for resenting my kids because that's not what good dads do. And then it kind of right? And then it's like, well, then maybe I'm not a good dad because I resent my kids. But maybe the reason why you resent your kids is because you're not being flexible enough with your value, right? To be able, if we go flexibility of value, to be able to value myself and value my kids at the same time. And when I take care of myself, I'm not devaluing my kids. I'm actually creating the context so that I can be with them as fully as possible.
What matters most right now.
Right? Exactly. Right?
That's a really good example, like, about, like, being a good dad. Mm-hmm. You know, on that topic, it also came to mind thinking about, like, what it means to, like, just in general, like, be a good man, right? A lot of, like, rigidity and things like that, like, come from society's expectations, right? Like, being a provider, being a protector, like, being strong, being manly,
being tough, toughening up your kids,
right? Here,
like good dads toughen their kids up. Good dads prepare them for the evils of the world out there.
Right. Yeah. So I think that a lot of factors can play into rigidity. Like I like thinking like big picture too. Yeah. Right? Like a lot of times it's fears, but a lot of times it can also be expectations, right? Pressures.
Yeah, a lot of so many social expectations out there.
Absolutely.
What it means to be a man, what it means to be a good dad, what it means to be a good parent, what it means to be a good human.
So next we're going to move into some case scenarios.
Cool.
Okay, so number one is we have job loss, right, is the first case scenario. So looking into like what the rigid person's spiral would be versus a flexible person's like pivot. Let's just call this person Jordan, right? It's not a real person. Jordan's position is eliminated during a company's downsizing. So if we think about the rigid response to that, the inner dialogue might be, I've failed. No one will hire me now. This is the end of my career. Can you think of any other examples of like what that would bring up?
I could even go, right, like maybe there's even a misperception. Maybe I didn't let go because they were letting people go. Maybe I got let go or we got let go because we weren't cutting it. We're not good employees. I'm not good enough, right? It's my fault I got fired, right? It's totally on me. I'm a bad employee, right? Or I'm not smart enough. I like within that, I'm not smart enough to get a new position, right? I don't know enough. I'm not qualified enough.
Oh, that's a heavy one.
It is. That's one that I struggle with.
You're fired. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not. No, I'm good enough and I'm smart enough. Doggone, people like me.
Okay. This is serious. And somebody who's feeling all of those things, right?
Hopeless, right? Apathetic.
Yep. They might spend days in bed, ignore calls from friends, and avoid looking at new job openings because it feels pointless.
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, that's the
maybe
apathy.
Drink.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I see it.
To numb out,
that's
for sure.
Normal.
Absolutely. Right? Or just go, even like really, really small escape behaviors could be, and I'm totally done this one, is if I feel too afraid to go do the big thing, I'm going to consume my time with doing a bunch of small things so that I might still feel like I'm productive. Right? Like I might
like distraction.
Yeah. Right. And it could be, and the distraction could be something that's actually helpful. Doing the dishes, doing the laundry, vacuuming the floors.
Well, but you're still avoiding.
Exactly.
You're still avoiding.
Right? You're still doing stuff that you should be doing and that it's helpful to do, but you're doing it as a way to stay away from that. Right.
And the impact of that, of those actions, right? The staying in bed, the avoiding, the, not looking at the emails about job openings is, the bills will pile up. Opportunities are missed because your avoidance is taken over and confidence plummets. Yeah. So this is the example of the rigid response to
absolutely. I would Jordan. Even go like within that is what I tend to call sometimes like emotional interest when we're in a stuck loop, right? Where maybe I feel sad or defeated that I lost my job, and laying in bed feels okay for a little while, right? There's a payoff to laying in bed, straight up. It allows us to avoid escape or control for something, which isn't like an immediate reinforcer. But then when we're like, oh, now I feel really, really bad because I just laid in bed all day, we still have the sadness and the defeat that we had earlier, but now we've layered a bunch of guilt on top.
Exactly.
And then when the guilt shows up, then I do something else to avoid escape or control. And then that feels like a little bit of relief for a bit. Like I'm going to watch TV or I'm going to do dishes. Right. And then
it's like, that's good.
That's good. I did the dishes. And then when the high of the dishwashing wears off, then you're still left with all the same stuff that you started with. And now maybe something else, right? More guilt for like, oh, now I feel like, well, no, I can't even go towards that anymore.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's not even an option for me anymore.
Right.
Right. More rigidity.
Absolutely.
Right.
So let's I have examples of what like a flexible response would look like to this. I mean, I could read it off, like the inner dialogue of like how you would whatever, but I think it'd be more interesting if we think back and forth about
just riff
like
on it.
Riff on it. Yeah. So what would be a more flexible way of Jordan thinking about this job loss, right?
One that I go for is the idea of we hurt because we care about something.
Yeah.
Right? Like I feel defeated because I care about feeling valued, right? Having a successful career, right? Maybe financial stability. Maybe Jordan grew up poor. And so having a job that pays well in the field that he wants to be doing, that could be it too. I value doing work in something that I'm interested in, something that I'm passionate about.
Very acceptance of him, right? Very like, I'm feeling this and it's there.
Yeah.
You know?
Like what is it that I care about that the flip side of that is what's showing up that's painful.
Yeah.
Right. That's one that I really like is when somebody's feeling a lot of pain. I'm like, oh, okay. What's the flip side of that? If this is what's painful, what is it that you want to turn towards or you have turned towards that you're kind of rubbing against? Like I like when Tim says it, he's like, one of your values gets rubbed up against, and that friction is kind of painful sometimes.
Right.
And I really like that. So it's like, just be able to like flip the perspective, because it's perspective taking, right? Which is such a valuable skill and tool for us to learn. So like, what's the other side of that? Here, this is what you're looking at, but what's on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
That's one that I like.
This matters to me, and it hurts right now that I lost this job, and I'm gonna take my time to like grieve that and process that, but then I'm gonna keep trying, right? Which can sort of, you can think about it as, you know, more like that acceptance, but then also like committed action, right? Like I'm gonna keep going even though it's hard and even though, you know, this didn't work out.
Yeah.
Right. So that could be like the inner dialogue.
For sure. Or even like let's say Jordan goes and sees a therapist, and the therapist shows Jordan that if everything is a behavior, that the thoughts that Jordan has about himself and his capability is a reaction to not having a job anymore or being fired.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's not necessarily like, well, yes, those are Jordan's thoughts because they're coming up in Jordan's mind. But if everything is a behavior, it makes sense that you'd be thinking that would be the reaction to losing your job.
Even that when security.
Absolutely. Right. I totally dig that.
And like some actions that he would take as being psychologically flexible, like he might update his resume, like might take a little bit of time to like, you know, be sad about it. Yeah. But then, you know, moves into updating a resume and sending it out. That's what that could look like, some like action.
I even like what I call sometimes like extreme flexibility, which is doing what's important, like even when you feel sad. I feel sad about losing my job, but I know that getting a new job is important to me. What are the small steps that I can take to get a new job potentially?
Yeah.
And so I don't have to actually not, like, I don't want to discount, like, sometimes just sitting in the sadness, just like letting it be there, crying about it, right? Like, taking a couple days maybe to lay in bed, right? Just to recover from it and sit in it for a while and recognize that, like, okay, I've let it move through me. Now I can go do the thing.
Yeah.
Right. But even like, oh, I'm really sad about losing my job. Okay, let's go.
And like we talked about, like the impact of not doing anything, like the impact would be. So what would be the impact of like getting up and like doing the thing anyway, even if, you know, you're feeling sad about it? The impact, I guess, would be you find a new job that is a better fit for you.
Yeah, potentially. Absolutely.
Right? Like
yeah.
that could be the impact.
Yeah.
Maybe you gain a new sense of confidence that like you can get through hard things.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. I can do hard things.
Yeah.
I can overcome this obstacle of sadness and defeat and despair, the apathy.
Despite.
Right? I can go and do big things despite all of this that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's really, for me, that's the part of the acceptance and like this idea sometimes of like non-eliminative agenda. I don't have to get rid of the pain to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
I can move forward even in the face of the pain.
Do you have, like, so we've given one just like basic, like case example just to get things rolling. Do you have like a specific like case example like in mind of like a real example you want to give? Obviously we won't give any identifying information.
Absolutely not. No names.
No names.
Right, no
Sometimes
real names.
I don't even use gender or you know specify when I saw them. You know, I just this person. I'm
going to call this person Julia.
Okay.
And Julia has had a relatively difficult life. She has autism. She grew up with a condition that kind of put her on the outside of things, especially when she was young, and has been harshly judged by a lot of people through the years for one, just being autistic, and the fact that like classically a lot of people don't understand how autistic people work.
Yes.
And so Julia's had a lot of struggle, a lot of what she calls defeat in her life. And because of that defeat, she's gone to this place where she's not nice to people anymore. She's very reactive, and to the point where now the narrative inside of her head is that she is a bad person because of the way that she behaves. And also the idea she reinforces this consistently is like, it feels good when I behave badly. Like it feels good when I yell at somebody in public, or like if they've cut me off in traffic, it feels so good to like throw up the finger and honk the horn and then pull up right beside them and say something really nasty to them.
Yeah.
And so there's this narrative that she is a bad person. And the difficulty with that, like if we look at that rigidity, I am a bad person. Not I'm a good person who's done bad things. Not I'm a good person who's struggling right now. And I'm being very reactive sometimes because I don't know how to manage my hooks. I don't know how to downregulate my nervous system. I have no emotional regulation skills available.
Yes.
And the difficulty then is that Julia also really values friendship and connection, and she's not doing those things as much or sometimes at all, even when there's an opportunity, because she's a bad person.
The rigidity
I'm
is
a bad
keeping
person.
her.
I'm just going to be bad.
So with this person, if you were doing work with them, like how would that change? Like what would you be seeing for it to be changed from rigidity to flexibility, right? Like how would that person then relate to those thoughts or beliefs? Mm-hmm. And then what would we see them doing anyway when those are showing up? And also what would then be the impact of doing,
Yeah. So one of the things within the approach to Julia, one could be, well, what's the value of being the bad person? Like what what does being the bad person allow you to avoid, escape, or control?
And also on the flip side of that, what is it costing you? Right?
Yeah.
Like
what are the values that you don't get to connect to when you buy into that?
what is thinking this way costing me? Right?
Yeah.
You know, how is this like narrowing my experience? I think that's how it would be flipped
Yeah.
with a psychologically flexible person.
And to keep in mind that for Julia, potentially being bad person or doing bad person reinforces the narrative that she has in her mind, which again isn't exactly what she wants, but there's a comfortability in it.
Right.
If I know how to be bad person, I do it constantly. And if I can just keep up this repertoire of behaviors, then I'm consistently, it does feel good. There is a comfort or a security in that certainty, right? Like the certainty of like, well, if I know that I'm a bad person, and I'm certain that I'm a bad person, if I just keep doing bad person behaviors, well, then that reinforces the narrative that I'm a bad person.
Something that I often do with my clients, like in situations like this where they're really rigid, is like I will present it as a cycle, right? So you have at the top, you have the thought or the core belief or whatever, right? In this case with Julia, it would be, I am bad. So, right, you have the thought that you are bad, right? And then what that does is it increases your distress, it increases your anxiety, increases whatever, your OCD, whatever the person is dealing with. In Julia's case, general stress or distress, right? And then when you have that increased distress, that doesn't feel good. You want it to go away, right? So then there's something you do. And that something you do is going to be pushing people away, acting like you're bad. And what that does is that then decreases that distress. Doing that behavior then decreases the distress. But guess what? That's only temporary, right?
That's when we get into the emotional interest again, right? Like you do it and it feels good for some people.
And guess what? That part of the cycle, it goes right back to the top. You're right back to the I am bad.
Yeah.
Right?
And I don't think people get
break.
that. Yeah, I don't think people get that though, is that like if we talk about
Still there.
how a nervous system works, I am bad, and then the distress of that, right? It creates an uncomfortability inside of us. Like our nervous system doesn't like that.
Yeah.
And so, but it's not like sometimes making the distinction between distress versus danger, right?
Yes.
Like that's distressing, but that distress, if we don't know how to manage the distress, seems like a danger. And so doing the thing that reinforces the narrative is the way that we stay out of danger.
Yeah.
Right. But then again,
you're in a cycle, right? Like it's still there. The anxiety is still going to increase, right? Because when we're not flexible, when we get to the increased anxiety part of the cycle, right? When we're not able to tolerate it and when we're stuck trying to like make it go away, that's the point. You got to create a break there. You got to be able to, incorporate presence, incorporate acceptance, incorporate self as context when that stuff shows up. Yeah. And then you can make different choices.
Yeah. Like
break free of that.
What if bad person isn't what you are? What if bad person is just what you're doing? Right? Like separating the identity from the behavior, right? You're not your behaviors.
Some of the long-term rewards of being psychologically flexible. Just wanted to like talk about that for a minute. Yeah. Just so that we can sort of give people, a light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's lots of literature and research and things that back this, but greater resilience is definitely one of them. Deeper connections, right, with people, and more like authentic, like happiness.
Yeah.
Right. People are more generally satisfied with their lives. Yeah. So that's just something to note when you're doing all this hard work, or it almost like gives a rationale, right, to your clients, provides them with a rationale, like, okay, like there is a point to, this work that
I had
we're
a client
doing
today say like, yeah, but like, what's the point? And I was like, trying to be really flexible. I was like, what if there isn't the point? What if there's a bunch of different points? Like, what if it's not just one? Because, like, I'm doing this to get to the one point.
Yeah.
But, like, what if there's a point or points, but not the point? And he's like, oh, never. Because we're constantly looking for the point. What's the point?
I'm not.
No. Sometimes I am. Sometimes,
That's why, like, no religion really. Like, I don't resonate with anything because I don't need to know the point.
I'm totally agnostic.
I'm just floating.
I don't know. I'm okay.
I know, same.
I'm like, I don't know. I used to be an atheist, and then I was like,
but even that is such a certain
right, but I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm given examples that maybe.
Right. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I think the same way. So we have lots of videos on the channel for what we call, like, if you're part of the mailing list, you'll know about this, but what we call the ACT toolkit. So lots of videos to start practicing this stuff, right? Values clarification, right? We've got different diffusion practices, selfless context. If you want to, like, practice any one of these pillars, I guess, of psychological flexibility, you absolutely can go check out some of those videos. And if you had any questions or anything that you wanted to ask me or Steve or Tim, make sure you leave a comment down below. We both love seeing them. We both love, like, answering them. So make sure to do that. And I'm going to put Steve's Instagram up on the screen right now if you want to go ahead and follow him.
Yeah, find me.
Find him. Move well, feel good.
Move well, feel good.
And you can find me on Instagram as well. I'll put that up on the screen.
Discord and counseling.
And don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and
share with your friends.
Yes, you never know who this might help in your world. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.